a little break because it's kind of hard for me to relive these moments because I'm still in the moment. So it's almost traumatizing for me because it's not over. I'm still in it. So now it's time for me to go to the court for my eviction. And I spoke to the CHAPS supervisor, and she explained to me that I needed a doctor's notice. That's when I reached out to the third doctor to see if I can get a letter stating that I am unable to work. And that's the reason why I'm in this situation. And that my surgery is still pending. Well, we all know doctors are busy, especially out here. And emergencies happens at any moment. So it took a couple of days before I could even get the letter from my doctor. And the day of my court hearing was the day that I received the letter. So I sent the letter to the supervisor, and she was like, well, we already denied your case. And I told her, well, I needed to get the letter from my doctor, and my doctor is busy because she's a doctor, and you guys just let me know that this is what is needed in order for me to get the help that I need to keep my place. And she said, well, we'll just take it over to the appeals office and see what we can do. But I really wish you would have sent that to me earlier. Again, she's not my favorite person at all. So while I'm dealing with her, I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do when I go to this court hearing, which is on the same day that I submitted the letter. I reached out to the director, and he told me to give him a call back and let him know how and what the judge said. So I go to the judge, I go to the court hearing, I go to the judge, and I'm watching, like, there's like maybe 25 people in the courtroom, and I just watch each and every last one of them just get evicted, back to back to back to back to back. Some of them were evicted at the same day. None of them were giving any grace period. They were evicted because of the mandate that was not renewed by Governor Joe Lombardo. And because he failed to renew the statute of limitations for the constituents of the state, us, and he also did not apply the $11 billion that the state received for COVID, which was given to nonprofit organizations, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. Because none of those things were applied or considered, hundreds of people were being evicted every single day, and I watched 25 of them get evicted while I was in the courtroom within a matter of minutes, because the law is the law. Well, the judge called me by my name, and I went up to him, and we looked at each other, and he read all of the basic judgmental things about how much I owe. And since I've been waiting since November, I owed $19,000. And there were many people who owed way more than that because we were waiting on CHAPS to get their lives together in order for them to get the funding that they needed in order to help us out. And he looked at me and said, well, NaKeesha, do you have anything to say? And I said, I actually do. I reached out to the governor, Joe Lombardo. I also reached out to Clark County commissioners, all of them. I reached out to the DA department. I reached out to the mayor of Las Vegas. I reached out to every news station that we have out here in Las Vegas. And there was no response. And I told him that I had gotten in contact with the director of the CHAPS program. And he said, oh, you did? And I called the director by name, and he was like, huh, so you're wrestling feathers, huh? I want to see how this plays out. I'm going to give you 10 days. So after my court hearing, I called the supervisor of CHAPS. Now, y'all remember, I actually had his cell phone number, so I called him as soon as I was done with my meeting. He reached out to me, and he was like, hey, how did it go? And I told him what happened, and he said, okay. He said, let me see your case. Let me check it out. And he looked at my case, and he said, oh, I didn't realize that you didn't have your surgery yet. I said, no, I didn't have my surgery at all. He was like, okay. He said, well, that seems like it's a technicality because you've had this hernia for 2 years. And I would definitely say that was a situation that was uncontrollable out of your circumstances. So by tomorrow, we'll start running the process and cut you a check. And we'll go ahead and get your back rent paid up and you'll be paid up. I was excited. I said, okay, hold on. So you're going to pay all of the rent? He said, yeah, we'll pay all of the rent. And I said, well, it's the middle of the month. Does that pay for the next month's rent too? He said, absolutely. Y'all, I was like, it was like a sigh of relief because my son and I can keep our place. My son and I can keep, fighting for me to get this surgery taken care of. And, we can still have stability. I was so excited. I was literally on cloud 9. I was like, thank you, God. Thank you. You came through for your girl. Yes, let's get it. I was so excited. And he said, you know what? Call me tomorrow and we'll work out the details and we'll go from there. I said, okay. Call you tomorrow. He reneged. Director of CHAPS reneged on what our conversation was. And of course, I always go back and say, as per our conversation via email, so at least I can have it in writing. His response was, oh, I didn't know that you hadn't had the surgery yet. Sir, you did. You have a doctor's notice from my doctor letting you know my complete circumstances. And this came about because I received a call yesterday from CHAPS asking if I was willing to relocate. How in the world am I supposed to relocate when I have 2 hernias? One hernia is so big, my large intestine is hanging out. The only thing that's holding on to my large intestine is my skin. There's nothing else. If I lift anything, that can cause detrimental harm to me. It's already bad enough that they asked me to change my application, my attestment form, saying, hey, can you change your attestment form stating that you know that you only owe 4 months of rent, when in actuality you've already proven to us that you owe 6 because you sent us the statements from your apartment complex stating that you owe 6. So you basically asking me to lie on a form that says that what I'm saying is actually true. Now you're asking me to put my health at risk? Accommodate what? I don't understand. And honestly, at this moment, I don't care. I reached out to the mayor. The mayor's representative response was, oh, this is not our issue. This has something to do with the county. And my response to them was, but aren't you the mayor of Las Vegas? Aren't you supposed to be looking out for the citizens of Las Vegas? Isn't that your job? Isn't that what we voted you in for? And then the commissioner reached out to me. He asked me for my address, and I told him what happened. If you are in the Las Vegas area and you're a lawyer, please contact me. My information is all in my profile, because this is beyond ridiculous to me. Oh yeah, and I have emails and statements from everybody proclaiming everything that I've been talking about. Yeah, I see why they. And I'm not the only one this is happening to in Las Vegas. It's tens of thousands of people that are losing their home.